So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts Infinity War Hulk. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at this large box. So we do get a basic looking style box when it comes to the SH Figuarts Infinity War line. Hulk is just in a larger box since he is a much larger character. So we do get the window right there in the front of the box, and on the window in gold does say SH Figuarts Hulk. Then we do get a Hulk fist symbol. On the bottom we do get some very nice artwork of the Hulks as Marvel Avengers Infinity War. We do get the Tamashii Nation's quality sticker, Tamashii Nation's, and Bandai. And then here is the bottom of the box with the blah 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 stuff nobody cares about. Then we do get an image of the figure. Here is the top of the box, and then the one side of it with another image of the Hulk there. And then the other side of the boxes have the continuation of the image from the front of the box, as you can see there. And then the back of it does show a few poses you can get the figure into, along with most of the accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure able to take a closer look at this Hulk figure that actually has a yelling, screaming Hulk face this time. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and Tamashii Nations did do an amazing job with this Infinity War Hulk. Their third time around, they finally nailed it. Their first Hulk didn't look like the Ruffalo Hulk at all. I mean, it was a good figure, but it looked more like an anime Hulk or a comic version Hulk. Then their Gladiator Hulk was a very good figure, it's just the face sculpts were off. There was just something off about the face sculpts. And now the face sculpts on this figure looks just like the Ruffalo Hulk. I think they nailed it with the likeness. The only issue I do have with this one, the eyes aren't looking in the same direction. His left eye is kind of looking more inward, while the right one's looking more like straight ahead, so they're still struggling painting the eyes correctly with having them both look in the same direction. But we get some nice paint throughout the face, and then clean paint work where the skin color meets the hair color there, and we get some really cool sculpt work on the hair, especially on the top. I really dig the way that looks. And the neck has some nice sculpt to it as well, the muscles all throughout it. And if you can't tell on camera, you will definitely be able to tell when you have it in hand. He does have a nice texture all throughout the skin, which gives it like a lifelike type look. So that is something I definitely do dig about this figure. Now another thing you'll notice is he does have some shading, and big plus to Tamashii Nations for that. He only has it on the torso and the arms. For some reason, they didn't want to put it on the legs, which we'll go over in a second, but I really dig the way the shading turned out on the figure all throughout the muscle definition, and very nice sculpt all throughout the muscle definition as well. And then we do get some sculpted veins all throughout the arms. Some people might not be happy that he does not have his Hulk chest hair, but you could be happy that he does have his Hulk sculpted niplets. So the back here of the Hulk, which is wide as hell, which looks really cool, and it should look like that because the Hulk is a big SOB, but we do get some more of that shading on the back as well, and you can see the texture on his skin also, which looks pretty cool. Now the lower portion of the Hulk here, the shorts or the pants, I think turned out really nice. There is no shading on it, which doesn't really bother me because they're such a dark color, so it looks alright. We do get like a couple of sculpted tears on each side of the leg right there, and we get some clean paint where the green meets that purple, some nice sculpted wrinkles all throughout the pants there. And I do have a QC issue on my lower right leg. It's like they scraped it up against something when it was being made. As you can see, it just ripped some of the paint right off there. I mean, I'm not that bothered by it because it does look like tears, like how this looks, so I'm really don't care too much about that. But that is a tiny QC issue there, and the knee joints look really good on this figure as well. Another issue about this figure, which is the main issue about this Hulk, is you're going to get plastic rub, or maybe sort of paint rub, if depending which area is getting rubbed up against from the articulation. It's bound to happen, so there's really no way to avoid it unless you don't let anything touch each other while you're articulating it. So that is the big main thing about this Hulk figure, which it doesn't really bother me because the Figma Hulk had that issue as well, and so does the Figuarts Thanos. Now the lower legs here, for some reason Tamashii Nations said, alright, that's enough shading on the torso and the arms, we're not going to throw any on the legs. So it looks weird, you know. We get some very nice shading on the upper part of the Hulk, then the lower part on his skin tone. There's none at all, which is very odd. And then we do get that texture on his skin. Once again, some more sculpted veins on the lower legs and the feet as well, which look pretty cool. And the toes look pretty cool too. You can see the toenail sculpted on there and everything. And then the bottom of the feet, nothing really going on besides the texture on his skin. But overall, I think Tamashii Nations definitely knocked it out of the park with this Infinity War Hulk. And the third time around, they did nail the likeness for this Ruffalo Hulk, and I can't be any more happy with how the detail turned out. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we only get a few things included with this Hulk, which is perfectly fine because he is a larger figure, and I mean, what else can you really include with an incredible Hulk? So what we do get with this figure, we do get 3 interchangeable heads, or faces. And starting on the left, we do get the basic stern face, which does come on the figure out of the packaging. And like I said before, I do have the issue where the eyes aren't both looking straight ahead, so we do get that. And then in the middle, we do get the angry teeth gritted face, which also looks great. And then finally, all the way on the right, we get my personal favorite, the yelling, screaming face, which is what they didn't include with their Gladiator Hulk. So very happy that they included that face this time with this Hulk, and we get some great sculpt and paint detail throughout all 3 faces. And I'm going to show you how to swap them out quickly right now. And to swap the heads, it is just connected to a ball peg, so when you want to take the one head off, just pull up on the head there, it'll pop right off, and then take the new one here. And the peg hole is on a bit of an angle, so you might have to like tilt his head up and then push down to get the new head on, and then there you go. As simple as that. So we do get those 3 interchangeable heads or faces, and then we finally get 4 alternate hands. And starting on the top here, we do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging, and then we do get a pair of open hands. Now the fists are really easy to swap out, but the open hands is a different story. They're a bit of a pain in the arse to swap out. You do have to use a bit of force to get them on the wrist joints, but we do get some very nice sculpt detail throughout all 4 hands. You can see the veins sculpted on the top of the hand and stuff, and you do see that texture throughout the skin as well. But anyway, that is all the accessories included with this Hulk. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of the Incredible Hulk, to the very top of his hair, it looks like he's about 8 inches and 1/4 of an inch tall. And then here he is compared to a bunch of the other SH Figuarts MCU figures, and I think this Hulk scales really well with his Avenger companions and his enemy as well. And then here he is compared to the first Gouken Shredder, the Storm Collectibles Goro, the NECA Ultimate Edition Ahab Predator, and the Marvel Legends Evolution of Groot. And then here he is compared to the Storm Collectibles Smoke, the SH Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the Mephex Tactical Suit Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku, and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, most of his movement is pretty good. Some points aren't as good as others, but we do get 2 points at the neck here. So the upper neck joint is on like a barbell type joint, so you can get Hulk to almost look all the way up, as you can see right there. He really doesn't look down at all because his chin gets blocked by his neck there. And we do get pretty good pivot at the upper neck, and then it does swivel as well. The lower neck joint goes back a tiny bit and goes forward a lot, so combining both joints, you can get him to look down pretty good, and combining both joints, you could almost get him to look all the way up. Very minimal pivot because it gets hindered by his traps there, and I believe it does swivel, but it's very minimal, as you can see right there. So pretty good movement at both the neck joints. And we do get a point of articulation at the torso, right under the chest there, and you can get Hulk to crunch forward a pretty good amount with that joint. Then he does go back alright, but you do see a huge gap right there, so you might want to avoid that. And then you do get a tiny bit of pivot, and then it does swivel as well. Now the waist here goes forward a lot, so combining both joints, you can get them to crunch forward really good, but it really doesn't go back at all, as you can see right there. So the only back movement you're going to get is with the torso. We do get a little bit of pivot, and then of course it does swivel, so pretty good movement at the torso and the waist there. Now for the arms here at the shoulders, it's kind of weird how the joints work. You can use the butterfly joint, as you can see right there, but when you have it back, you can't really move the shoulder joint. When you pull it out, then you can move it around. For some reason, when it's back there, you could only move it, his arm back and forth a tiny bit, but when you pull that joint out, you get that like circular type motion out of the arm. So it's kind of odd how his butterfly joint and shoulder articulation is, but you do get nice movement out of it. And the arms do go out to the sides a little more than 90 degrees, so that is definitely good. They do go up and down. We don't have true bicep swivel, which I'm pretty disappointed about, but I mean, all their Hulk figures have been like that pretty much, so you're gonna have to use the bicep swivel. At the shoulder joint, we do have double jointed elbows where it connects to the bicep. It really does not bend in at all, but where it connects into the forearm, that's where you get better movement. So it bends in about 90 degrees. Then we do have a barbell type joint on the wrist here, so you can move it all around. It could swivel up and down, side to side, so you do get pretty good movement throughout the arm and the wrist there. Now for the legs here, Hulk can kick forward a little less than 90 degrees, which isn't too bad for him being a huge figure. It doesn't really go to the back at all. Then he can Jean-Claude Van Damme it. And who would think that the Hulk would have some Jean-Claude Van Damme leg articulation there? But we do get an upper thigh swivel, as you can see there where that cut is. Then we do have double jointed knees that bend back about 90 degrees. And for the ankles here, they only swivel a tiny bit, as you can see, because they get hindered by his ankles right here that are sculpted on the leg. They do hinge up a tiny bit, hinge down pretty good, and then the pivot is alright on this figure. Not the best, but pretty good for a Hulk. Then we do have a nice toe hinge there. So overall, for this being a Hulk, they definitely worked in the articulation really well on this figure, and you're going to be able to get him into just about any type of green monster like poses, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the SH Figuarts Infinity War Hulk. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd definitely have to give it a perfect 10. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did have mine imported from Japan from Ami, but my buddy from Agelessgeeks will be getting this in stock very, very soon, so you can head over to Agelessgeeks.com. If you can't find it on there, I would recommend going through their Instagram or Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. So let's get into it right away and take a quick. So we do get a basic look. We just get a bit of a larger box since Hulk. When it comes to the SH Figuarts Infinity War line, Hulk. And then here's the bottom of the box with the barcode and blah 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 blah. Actually, that is no barcode. That's just some blah 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 stuff. Damn ye. MCU figures, and I think this Hulk. Damn you! And I think this Hulk scales really well with his Avenger So when you want to take the one head off, just pull up and take it. Just what the hell is wrong with me? And then just push down. You kind of have to do it on an angle because and you do see that spit it out, you bastard. It's like they scraped this up against something.